Welcome to the BumbleKast. I'm your host, Ian Flynn, the Bumble King, and joining me as always is my Bumble co-host, Kyle, JCRB Krause.
It's time for another BumbleKast. Dun dun dun. Hi, Ian. What's up?
Oh, way too much. Way too much. I need a break, but there's no break on the horizon, so nothing to it. Just power through it. How are you?
I'm okay, but don't break yourself. That would be ideal.
Breaking myself would be ideal?
Yes. No. What? No, hold on.
Too late. It's been established. We're moving on ahead. If you want to question here on the show, email us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com. Tweet to us at BumbleKast. Comment on any YouTube video or post anywhere on the Patreon page, although we would prefer that you use the Q&A channel over on the Discord. If you want your question answered sooner rather than later, become a $5 patron over at patreon.com/BumbleKast. Or send $6 our way at Ko-fi. That's ko-fi.com/BumbleKast. Make sure to include your name and your question. If the question has been answered in one of the recent episodes, it's covered in one of the FAQs over at bumbleking.com, or it's covered in the Q&A master list. We're not going to answer it because clearly it's already been answered. So let's move on to the priority Q&A. Kyle!
Man, this is BumbleKast speed round. All right, let's jump right into it. Priority Q&A. Here's this one from Andrew D. Has SEGA ever told you what games were or were not canon? And for those that were non-canon, did you say that they could not be adapted at all? Did they say they could not be adapted at all due to being non-canon?
Over the years, I've had a few confirmed as considered as part of the list and some that are not. But that was kind of a case-by-case basis or just me kind of opening queries. It's never really affected the adaptations, though, because around the time I came on, if it was dubious canon, then we were already past the point of adaptation, generally speaking.
Yeah. Guess that makes sense. Maybe. You never know these days. Next up, we got a question from Scurvy Piratehog. Since we never got to fully see it in Worlds Unite, how would you imagine a proper crossover between modern Sonic and Boom Sonic to go? The Sonics interacting, Knuckles, Eggman, etc., etc.
See, at some point, I think the BumbleKast might have been on the table for Worlds Unite because I remember getting a note that we couldn't make a joke about the blue arms. We were told we could make jokes about the bandages, but we couldn't reference the blue arms. But then later, we couldn't use anyone except for Styx or the Boom exclusive characters, and that's why we didn't see anyone else in the crossover. So I don't remember quite how that panned out. But I imagine the Sonics would bro it up. I would think that Boom Tails might get a little frustrated with regular Tails, just because modern Tails is a little more wide-eyed optimist sidekick. Modern Knuckles would have no patience for the density of Boom Knuckles, which would lead them to brawling, and that would just make them super friends after that. The Amy's would get along just fine. The Eggmen would be one of those things where they kind of get along at first because of their shared hatred for hedgehogs, but eventually Boom Eggman would get on modern Eggman's very last nerve.
Yep.
And it would lead to very, very bad things. And then hilariously, the Orbots and Q-Bots would be mixed up between the two worlds, and you couldn't tell the difference because they're the same characters.
Exactly. Yeah, the Eggmen would be like, they would totally hate each other eventually. It would be gloriously spectacular.
I think that was one of the cut jokes, actually, is that we were going to have, like, Boom Q-Bot accidentally left behind in the modern universe, and nobody could tell because they're the same character. But we ultimately cut that just because it might cause some kind of rights snafu somewhere down the line.
Some kind of weirdness.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on into our next question here from IanWaffles. How do you both feel about the hypercritical approach to media analysis that we seem to find ourselves in nowadays? I have to find I enjoy things more when I consider the time, circumstances, and people behind a project rather than treating everything in a vacuum. Do you think it creates a healthy discourse for everything to be treated to such a strict and harsh standard of quality?
No, I think Now, I realize this is going to sound very gatekeepy, but I feel like a lot of the harsh criticism comes from a large number of people who have listened to one DVD director's commentary or seen a few of those bad faith hot take YouTube videos and decide, oh, I've got a introductory understanding of critical thinking and analysis. Let me tear this thing down because I know everything.
Yeah.
And to be fair, everyone should be able to assess media and their likes and their dislikes and be critical of it. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but there also is a lot of, I want my hot take. I want to have my definitive view of this be recognized. And when everybody is shouting at once, nobody gets heard and it's nothing but noise. Having been on the receiving end of people paying way, way, way too much attention to the Sonic books, it's wearying. And I'm not saying that, the book shouldn't be held under some scrutiny. They absolutely should. And there are insights to be had from them that are interesting, or they pick out stuff that I never intended but are neat thematically, so I can't really say they're wrong. But there's others that feel like there are these huge, deep, dark meanings to entire arcs. And it's like, no, what are you talking about? Just calm down and enjoy the funny animals running around bopping robots. There are degrees to which you need to turn on the microscope,
Yeah.
And at the same time, and there's also folks who seem to want to find fault for the sense of superiority when you're missing out on the fun of just enjoying the media. Like, there's stuff that is critically acclaimed. I greatly enjoy. It has faults that I could very easily pick apart, but it's fine because the thing itself is enjoyable, and you don't need yet another person saying, well, actually, this is where this project is thematically wrong according to its own rules. It's like, just calm down. There is room for critique. There is room for analysis. And there's also room for just enjoying what you have.
Yeah. I mean, I agree entirely with you on that. I mean, I can't really add much else. But and I mean, I'm kind of like you, Ian, Mr. Waffles. I do like to also think about, like the reasons behind certain decisions were made, or the people who made them, or when they were made, and stuff like that. Like how once all the lockdowns started, how that changed a whole lot of shows that were not quite done filming, or even certain movies and things like that. Like how did they handle that sort of wrench getting thrown into the works? That's kind of interesting to me, but I think just criticizing for criticism's sake is silly, and I think a bit too many people spent their formative years watching the angry video game nerd or nostalgia critic and thinking they could do the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're older, and they're more vindictive, and they're just mean, and now they make videos on YouTube. It's like, oh, okay, you have fun with that. I'm just gonna be over here enjoying it. If you want to get mad about it, have fun. Yeah, but
I mean, I'm not saying that you have to have a degree in film studies to have an opinion on something.
No.
If your entire education comes from TV tropes, just maybe have a step back, reassess where you are able to form your opinions from.
Right. I mean, I love TV tropes, but yeah, it's not the be all end all of criticizing anything. I mean, and they even say, hey, come on, tropes are not bad. Tropes are fun, but they're not everything. So, next question is from Digamma-F-Wau. Chronologically, when does Outlaw take place in relation to the main Drogune series? Given that the Shonen Jump contest took place at Ruby Point, and that the chapter of the main book that came out after Outlaw, when the hiatus ended, also took place at Ruby Point, it would be funny if what we have of Outlaw and that chapter of the main series was taking place at the same time, unbeknownst to both parties. But obviously, if that's not the case, then that's not the case.
Right. Now, Outlaw takes place 100 years before the main series.
Oh. Well, that's no fun. So no crossover potential?
Oh, but when you start to see the dots connect, you'll be going, ooh, this madman had it planned from the beginning. And I will say, yes, part of it. But which part? I'll never tell. By the way, Drogune updated over the weekend, so go read it now.
Haha, wow. Convenient. Johnny Be Good has a question. Could you shed some light on the relationship between Robbo the Hedge and the Albion Echidnas? Rob appeared to be in a weird trance when he led Knuckles and the Lost Echidnas to the hidden city he never saw before, and then they were in some sort of alliance with the Albionites until their civilization was blown up by Eggman? What was up with that?
Johnny, I tried very hard to honor everything that came before my run. I wanted to incorporate as much as possible. I wanted to link the various writers' visions and editorial directions into something that was a little more cohesive and recognizable as Sonic. And sometimes some things just wouldn't fit. Why does Robbo the Hedge have some kind of predetermined post-hypnotic suggestion to lead the Lost Tribe to Albion, despite the fact that he has had no interactions with the Albionites and no connection to the Lost Tribe, which under no circumstances was shown to be headed towards Mercia until Knuckles just happened to show up because of divine prophecy that the Albionites didn't even believe in? I don't know, man. I sanded down so many square pegs to fit into round holes, but some of it, I just have to say, you know what? That's a thing that happened, and we're gonna move on.
I mean,
it all got nuked anyway, so what was the point? What was the point, Kyle? I don't know.
I feel like you could have just stopped that answer at why does Robbo the Hedge? I mean, really, why does Robbo the Hedge? Like, why does he exist?
Rarely, he's a stout-hearted individual. He thinks you cannot appreciate all that is Rob.
I mean, I guess he could have been an interesting character, I guess, but I mean, he just seems like something that was shoved in for some reason. I don't know. I don't even remember, like, when he showed up, but all of a sudden he was there, and I was like, what is going on? What has this book become? Oh well, whatever.
A marvelous melting pot of madness.
Yeah, that's pretty much what it was. There was a lot of madness.
But it was fun.
I mean, in a way, some of it was. Some of it was just dumb. Oh well. Here's one from Diane W. What are the possibilities of exploring Blaze, having Iblis sealed inside of her before she chaos controlled herself into another dimension at the end of Silver's campaign in Sonic 06, as well as the fact that Blaze was originally from Sonic's world 200 years into the future, and childhood friends with Silver before she was the princess of the Soul Dimension and keeper of the Soul Emeralds?
0%.
Okay, I mean, I'm like, wait, was this what happened in Sonic 06? Okay.
I have seen some fans desperately try to reconcile things, and they've put a valiant effort into it. But when you get down to it, 06 and Rush are incongruent. They just don't work. How is Blaze the princess to a planetary empire in a dimension that she only appeared in after being flung from the future of another planet? It doesn't work. And the fact that she has Iblis inside her is something that we will probably never, ever get to reference again because they're trying to ignore 06 as hard as possible. So as much as I would love to try to tackle and untangle that knot, because I'm a glutton for punishment, see the aforementioned square pegs and round holes, it's one of those things that I think is such a mess and that Sega doesn't want to touch it again, that we're just going to have to smile and nod and say, okay, moving forward.
Yep. Puppetry Populous has a question. Thoughts from either of you on Daft Punk in general now that they've split up?
It made me a lot sadder than I thought it would.
Yeah, it was pretty sad news. I was like,
before if you had asked me before they broke up, hey, is this going to affect you? I'd be like, they're fun, but no. And then it just kind of popped up in the news. It's like, yeah, they're done now. It's like, oh no, no, they were they were fun. They were quirky. They weren't full of scandal. They just put out the occasional good bop every now and again, and they were robot men. It was pure. It was, and now it's done, and that's kind of sad.
yeah, I mean, I can't remember a time when Daft Punk didn't exist in my life. So that's kind of like a constant thing. And to have it not be there anymore is like, oh, time does in fact march on. Here we go. Here's another thing here's another thing that 2020 and the fallout of it is taking away from us. Thanks,
It's
universe.
only March.
Yeah. Yeah. So Daft Punk is amazing. I will say. I do very much enjoy their stuff. The Tron Legacy soundtrack. Still aces. Next question is from Afro Luffy X. Were the characters of pre-reboot Archie Sonic like Jeffrey, Elias, and Mina erased from existence by the Genesis wave, or were they reincarnated into the new continuity, aka post-Genesis world, with a different body, or kept their original bodies but have no memory of the old continuity? If so, what would their background and character be in post-reboot world?
No, they were all completely nuked. Wiped away. No shred remains.
Nuked.
All pre-reboot stuff that is not SEGA material is gone forever and ever by the wave.
Nuked from orbit, because it was the only way to be sure.
Mm-hmm. And from a
sure.
narrative standpoint, it's cleaner, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Mina's the only one that kind of hurts it on that a little bit. Like, it would have been fun to keep her around, but Elias you could have kept around too. But Jeffrey, no. Especially in hindsight with everything that he represents. Goodbye, and good riddance.
It's sad when my interpretation where he was a deeply damaged flunky to an evil wizard is the purer version.
Yeah. Anyway, next question is from Hero of Light 13. Hey, Ian and Kyle, first-time patron but long-time fan. Is my first BumbleKast question, and it's also my birthday weekend by the time you're recording this anyway. Happy birthday.
Yeah, happy birthday.
I've got a lot of questions, but I guess what I'll start with this week is, as far as the IDW Sonic universe goes, what's the Avatar character up to while everything else is going on? I get that they're essentially meant to be our characters / OCs, and whatever they end up doing after Forces is meant to be left up to our imaginations or headcanons. But in terms of with how your world works, what do you imagine they're up to? Or is it a similar situation as with Infinite and the powers that be would rather you not touch that character anymore, either due to potential future use or a lack of sustained interest? I've got my own ideas for mine, but don't worry, I won't share them here. Lol.
Thank you, because that would be bad. For legal reasons, not for any other reasons. I'm sure, but your ideas are fine. But it's kind of twofold. Yes, I am willing to bet SEGA would not want us to touch on that character, because who knows what they will be doing with them, if they do anything with them. But narratively speaking, it would be an absolute nightmare to try to canonize which version of the Avatar it is, what species, what gender, what look. No, sir. Mm-mm.
I mean, there were a few
going down that rabbit hole.
There were a few that they went with for marketing, but
yeah, but even still, in terms of where the story fits, which one of those marketing standard ones is the one, you know?
Right.
So I would like to think that to leave the question open-ended entirely, you know, you played your character, and it's up to you how they lived their lives through the metal virus and whatever's coming up next. It is like the most officially sanctioned fanfic you can get. So I'm not going to put a fine point on it at all. I want everyone who has their OCs to just revel in the creative freedom.
The word I'm getting is that Rookie died on the way back to their home planet.
No. They deserve better than that.
I like that they have a home planet. That I would assume is different from Sonic's world, but
They go back to Dundonpa.
That's where they're from. That makes sense.
No, it doesn't.
It makes sense to me, dang it. Let's see. Rookie went on to a successful stint with the Ghostbusters. Yes. They changed looks. They look completely different. They became a human for that, apparently. But yeah. I thought Tangle and Whisper were like the Avatar characters, but what do I know? Next up is a question from Noni. I was replaying Sonic Adventure 2, and a question struck me. When a Chao reincarnates, do they keep their memories or not? Do you have to remind them of their last life if they up and cocoon on you?
That is a very interesting question. And I don't know. I don't know. Like, are they themselves but different? Like they get to live their lives all over again? Or is it just they wake up from a lovely nap and, they're a baby again? I don't know. That would be neat.
Intriguing. Next question is from Creative Name, which is a very creative name.
Oh, quite. I never thought of it.
Yeah, me neither. Hello, Ian and Kyle. I've only recently gotten into this podcast, but I'm already a big fan. Well, thank you. My question is for Ian. When you write for Classic Sonic, what voice do you hear in your head? Jaleel White from the Deke shows? Martin Burke from the OVA?
Oh, Jaleel White, easy.
Yeah. Obviously. Who else?
He's kind of like the voice of Classic Sonic when you get down to it.
Right. Unless you're Sega currently, in which case Classic Sonic does not have a voice. He does not speak.
Oh.
Which is stupid.
The things I could say, but I can't because...
I just said them for you. It's
Kyle,
stupid.
One of these days, Kyle, I will walk away from the Sonic franchise and I will dump all my dirt, but for now...
Yeah.
Good. I gotta be a good boy. Keep my mouth shut.
Yeah. He's not... I guess he's not the original voice of Sonic, but he's still Sonic. Anyway, Blue Title Gamer is up next with a question. With Sonic set to get a new voice actor, who would you personally like to see fill the role? What a coincidence. It just happens to fit in with the previous question.
It'd be hilarious if it was Jaleel.
I mean, his voice sounds a bit different now. It's not quite the same, but he can still pull it off. I mean, he did do that fan movie over a decade ago now, I guess. But yeah, that could be interesting.
I'm not super familiar with voice actors in general, so I can't even guess. And given how tightly I'm connected with Sonic, I probably shouldn't throw my hat into the ring, even in just passing, because that might be misconstrued. So I'm going to abstain.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know for sure who out there would fit the role at this point. I mean, Jaleel White coming back would be a fun throwback. But, otherwise, I don't know for sure. I guess they could get Ben Schwartz back to do the games along with the movies. But, I don't know. Would his voice sound right coming out of modern Sonic like that? The game Sonic? I don't know. He has carved out a very specific niche of being movie Sonic that I feel like his voice would not necessarily fit the modern Sonic character, but I don't know. It's hard to say. So yeah, I don't know, BTG. I'm sorry I can't give you a more concrete answer. So, but hey, there's got to be someone out there. I'm sure there's plenty of people out there who can do a Sonic style voice. There would be no problem with it. No problem finding someone who fits that same mold. It's It's a good character. No, not me. All right. Next question is from Scruffy Met. All right, fellas, who would win in a fight, Darth Vader or the Hulk?
Vader.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hulk is strongest one there is, but the Force knows no physical limits. And he's armed with a beam sword that cuts through anything. And Vader's not one to, mess around. He sees a giant snarling Goliath man coming at him. He's just going to force slam him into the ground, cut his head off. Sorry.
I mean, if Hulk did manage to get the upper hand and grab him and start tearing him apart, maybe. But he would have to get the upper hand, and
Hulk ain't exactly stealthy.
No, he's not. No.
And I don't want to hear anybody counter-arguing that, oh no, Hulk is strong enough to resist the Force. No. Forget you. Absolutely not.
No. Mentally, definitely not. But, yeah, no. It's not really a contest. And our last question is from Off this week, from the priority question at least. In a recent issue of the comic, Amy Rose was seen driving a car. She's supposedly only 12 years old. This isn't a question, I just wanted to point that out.
Yeah, and Tails is 8.
Yeah, and he flies a plane. A few planes, actually. With a rocket booster attached to it. What is adulthood in Sonic?
A miserable pile of secrets.
Anytime after whatever age Cream is. Yeah, we'll go with that. I mean, really. It's adult is a very fluid thing in the Sonic universe, I guess. We just don't know. We don't know. It's like they say they're 15, but do they act 15? Not really. No. Or 12. They don't act 12. No. Whatever. You want to tell us a little bit about the Bumble Comic Shop, Ian?
I would love to. Head over to BumbleKing.com and click on the Shops tab to find the Bumble Comic Shop. There you'll find a selection of books that I have worked on, ranging from Sonic to Star Wars to My Little Pony and a bunch of other stuff. Everything is priced at convention prices, including rare variant covers, and every book that you buy is signed by me. So head over to BumbleKing.com under the Shops tab and find yourself the Bumble Comic Shop.
Go grab a comic or 2. Or 5. Or 10. I don't know how many you have left over there. Hopefully you have at least 10.
Oh yes, there's a fair number for now.
Oh, better hurry. Act fast. Supplies are limited. Next up, we're jumping into the standard Q&A. This one's from Smoogie Boogie. It's very good. It's very good.
It is a very good name.
That is a very creative name. What are your opinions on Heavy and Bomb, and how would you give them unique personalities and stories with potential in the current age, where we have had many other robots on the side of good? I like what you were starting to do with them in Archie before the reboot, so if you have any extended plans to share from that, or ideas that pop into your head just now, I'd love to hear them.
You make a good point that we have a lot of redeemed robots.
Yeah.
And I think there was some bit of flavor text in the American manual implying that they may not even be allies. They may be kind of sleeper agents for Eggman. And I think you can play with that. Have them show up as robots that seem to be on the side of good and then are actually evil. Or since Classic, and I would imagine they are relegated to Classic, is a much more gentler storyline, I guess. Or it's more upbeat and light. In terms, it lacks the melodrama of modern. Maybe play it for laughs that they are ex-badniks that want to do good, but they're very, very bad at it and end up causing trouble. I don't know. There's a few ways to take it.
Yeah, I feel like Heavy and Bomb were another one of those missed opportunities. Like they showed up in the one game and they were treated as like bad prizes for the character selection. It's like, yeah, you could pick one of the cool characters, or you get a random robot to follow you around that hurts you, that either hurts you or slows you down in some way. And it's like, well, I mean, That's very reductive. They could have done something with Heavy and Bomb to make them more fun and interesting. But no, they were just kind of there. And then, yeah, I would have liked to see more explored from them. So who knows? Maybe someday they'll come back in some form. Next question is from Snowflake Flaker. At the end of Sonic Universe number 70, did Eclipse and the Dark Arms land on Mystic Ruins? It looks like they landed in a swampy rainforest, and it makes sense to me because I think Angel Island is just above it. I could be wrong about that.
No, they just showed up in a different jungle. Angel Island free floats around the world.
It free floats. I don't know why my brain got attached to that. But here we are.
Floaty?
Huh?
Feeling a little floaty?
Yeah, something like that. Saturn 537 has a question to Ian. I know you've talked about how you wanted to do a Mega Man X comic book series, but it never happened, and you've also talked about what you would do when you got to the Mega Man X4 adaptation. But my question is, what would you do with Axel when you got to the Mega Man X7 adaptation? Would you do anything to make him less annoying, or would you keep him relatively the same, just to stay true to his character development in X8?
I say this with the caveat that I didn't research much beyond X4, because at that point, that's when the narrative starts to get a little dicey. I figured I'd need to really, really get into it, and it was way too early to really devote a lot of time and attention to it. So I'm not super familiar with X7. I just know that it's one that fans are really not happy about in general.
Mm-hmm.
What with X stepping down and Axel's Poochie-like introduction and so on and so forth. So I would say that at the very least, I try to be faithful to what the story brings to the table, but maybe massage the presentation. You know, maybe dial back the scrappy-doo of Axel a little bit so that it's more endearingly silver-like in the new guy who wants to do well, and dial up the pathos for X, who never wanted to fight, who is a steadfast pacifist, and who has spent 6 games now gunning down people. He's tired. He needs to walk away. So, very broadly speaking, that's probably how I'd approach it.
Yeah. I liked Axel once you got past X7 and into X8, where he was a little better. He was a bit better in X8. And then you had Command Mission. Command Mission, also pretty good. Pretty good overall. I really do like Command Mission. They could have really built more on that with the characters and just everything that they had interpreted from that. That would have been really cool. But then they marred it by putting in a whole bunch of random battles that were way too tedious. So, yeah,
I mean,
take one with the other, but I don't know.
To Axel's credit, you know, his debut is also built where he's directly overshadowing the main character, and that's not well.
Right. Yeah, that was a bad move on their part.
Yeah.
They wanted to introduce a new character, but they didn't have to do it at the expense of their main character. So, yeah, you kind of screwed that one up. So, all right, next question is from Daddler the Dalek. Do you remember Hawaiian Shadow from the fake Sonic Boom leak back in late 2013, early 2014? You know that leak with Scottish Tales, Fat and Evil Silver, and more crazy stuff? Shadow was supposed to be a lazy surfer dude who drinks margaritas, wears a Hawaiian shirt and shades, and was like the James to Rouge's Jesse as Team Rocket-like villains. But Shadow just wanted to relax all day. It became somewhat of a meme back in the day. I don't remember this at all.
I remember Hawaiian shirt Shadow, but all the rest of that fanon is new to me. I do remember somebody saying that he should have a surfboard that's labeled Maria.
Oh, no!
And that he's just way too attached to it. That cracked me up more than anything else.
Oh, no. Oh, no. That's terrible.
This is what you wanted, wasn't it, Maria? To hang 10? Yeah. Sure, bro.
Wow.
We should go see like that comedy chimp guy. He's like funny, man.
Wow, man. I'm trying to imagine this version of Shadow, and it's like, holy crap. Wow.
I think somebody took a panel from the old Archie book and edited Shadow to be Hawaiian Shadow.
Yeah.
They edited the text too to something that was really funny, and I don't remember what it was now.
Oh, man. I'd imagine if the character interpretations were that wild and in Boom, where they were just completely different. All right. Anyway, next question is from Ivan F. Since Sonic isn't allowed to cry anymore, does that mean there's a demon sealed inside of him too?
Yes, it's a speed demon, and that's why he's so fast.
Brump jump rum. And finally, our last question is from Michael B. Not that Mike B, not that other Michael B, but Mike B, or Michael B. Is the human world off limits in IDW, or could we see it in future issues?
For the moment, we've been asked not to reference it, but again, with my experience working on this franchise, what is yesterday can be no tomorrow, and vice versa. So that might shift in time.
Maybe we will see dirty, filthy humans walking around eventually. They're gross, but I mean, they could be there. Anyway, that's going to do it for this edition of the BumbleKast, I do believe. You got any last words, Ian, before we skedaddle?
My last words are a big thank you to the following patrons who make this show possible.
Woohoo!
Thank you to Daniel H., Alex P., James K., John B., Jennifer R., Samuel P., Sam Cybercat, Robotnik Holmes, Mike B., Justin G., Torchbound, Coupling Crew 128, Dois Diz Din, Diane W., Scruffy Matt, Chris A., Andrew D., John M., Don B., Yami M., Lee H.K., Lisa M., Chevelle, Sonny, Silly String, Takaro, Salute Your Cat, Dave M., Justin S., Blue Title Gamer, Nani, Off, Overthinking Films, Tick Tick, Final Neil, Papa Tripadopoulos, Bradley T.T., Digamma-F-Wau, John L., Jonathan D., PC the Unicorn, Jay Frost, Rachel W., Godzilla, Chaos Universe, Sonic Legacy, Piggy Bank, Daniel B., Preston M., Dabbler the Dalek, Owen B.D., Jib, Dove, Somewhat Gooey, Sapphire Scarletta, Professor Rye, Turbo, Hero of Light 13, Afro Luffy X, Ogilvive, Maurice, Red Wolf, Glitchiest, Red the Supernamic, Jonathan W., Scurvy Piratehog, and Creative Name.
Yay! New names in there, some classics. Always good to hear those, and always good to hear all those names. Thank you for your support on Ko-fi, Patreon, and anywhere else. Even just watching and listening to the show helps us out, so we do very much appreciate it. Thank you. Where can people find you after this, Ian?
Find me on Twitter at IanFlynnBKC, my personal website, BumbleKing.com, which has the FAQs, the Bumble Comic Shop, and a whole bunch of other stuff. And check out my original webcomic, Drogune, that's DROGUNE.com, that just updated 5 new pages and new lore content. So head on over there and just read to your heart's content, or at the very least until you've run out of new material. Kyle, what about you?
You can find me on Twitter at KyleJCRB. You can also check out kngi.org, where you can find all the archived episodes of the BumbleKast in MP3 downloadable format. You can also find my other show, Nitro Game Injection, which streams live on Fridays at 8 p.m. Eastern Time over there at kngi.org. Or you can also find all the archived episodes of that show as well, and a whole bunch of other shows too that you can go check out and tune into and listen to and enjoy. So, yeah, head over there. Do it.
After that, catch us on Twitter at BumbleKast. Contact us at BumbleKast@yahoo.com and listen to us on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, our YouTube channel, and kngi.org.
Don't forget also go check out the Bumble Store. That's at shop.spreadshirt.com/BumbleStore. You can get some Bumble gear and other Bumble accessories over there, and some shirts and some other fun stuff. So go check it out. Shop.spreadshirt.com/BumbleStore.
And catch BumbleKast Gaming live streaming on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/BumbleKast Gaming, Sundays at 10 p.m. Eastern Time. And other times, but that's kind of been rare, but we try to. We want to. It's in the cards. The thought has crossed our minds.
It's a possibility, but it's also like, maybe. It's like, we're busy, or something else came up, or I don't wanna. Could be anything. Could be anything.
Of course, it was last week where you were pinging me like, so, are you not going to stream tonight? And I'm like, why? It's Sunday. Oh crap! And I was like an hour away from home.
Well, I mean, also last week I was still like trying to get the show edited and everything. It was a mess last week. Last week was a mess. So it's all good. It is all good, and it is all done on the BumbleKast.
Yes, it is. We'll see you next week with more of your questions and more of our answers. Until then, be good to each other, be good to yourselves, and we'll see you then.
Mm-hmm. It's true. We will see you then. We will see you then. Oh, we will see you then. Yes.
I was honestly intimidated into silence.
Really? I don't think I'm like intimidating at all. I'm kind of surprised.
I was almost wondering if you were getting the Discord low voice, because it's like, oh, I didn't know you could hit that register. Orson Wellesy on me.
You didn't know I could talk like this? You didn't know? Oh, you didn't know? You didn't know? No, I just sound like I'm tired. Which is true. I'm sleepy. I'm gonna go back to sleep now. Here's this one from Andrew D. Has Sega ever told you what games...
No, next question!
Okay. Wow, you totally threw me off there.
Couldn't resist. Please continue.
Okay. All right. Next question is from Afar...
Okay.
No. Don't worry about it. You're good. Also, no deep voice this week, so I think whatever we did last week worked.
I was wondering if it would stick because I had to swap out microphones yesterday. I thought, the settings are going to change again. But yeah, so far so good.
Yeah, no, it kept it. So we were in good shape, I think. Don't mess with it.
Well, I was a little disappointed because I knew exactly what I was going to do if you were going to go, and deep voice again, and just break into Papa was a Rolling Stone.
Oh, well, maybe next time.
Maybe we'll have technical maybe we'll have technical difficulties next time, and I'll train the Porky Pig.
Technical speaking difficulties, those are every time, to be fair. Especially from me. Jeez. If I could learn how to talk, it would be great to be doing a podcast. I don't know why I'm doing a podcast when I can't speak. But here I am, doing two. Anyway.
Passion is commendable.
Yeah. I'm always like more of a behind the scenes guy. Why am I the one on the mic? Oh, it's because I can't find anyone to be the voice for me. I have to do it myself. Oh well. We want to tell us a little bit about... Are the characters of pre-reboot Archie Sonic, like Jeffrey, Alias, and Mina... Elias... Wait, am I saying... Wait...
Elias.
Were you laughing at me the way I pronounced his name?
Yes, I was.
Thank you. Okay, good. I'm glad. I just was like, yeah. Anyway, my brain is broken. I have heard of the BumbleKast. It's a very strange show. I don't know who would listen to it. The target audience, I don't know what the target audience is for that one.
Degenerates.
That would explain a lot, actually, when I listen to it. That makes a
malformed mutants not fit for human consumption.
Well, who would consume mutants? Who would consume... What? I don't understand what you mean there, Ian, but that's okay. Because I also don't understand who would listen to the BumbleKast. Like, what's the point?
What's the point of the BumbleKast?
What is the point? It is a niche subject with a very obsessive fan base. I don't understand. You've been listening to the BumbleKast, a co-production of Bumble King Comics and the KNGI Network. Original theme music composed by Ken Coda Snyder. remixed intro by T-Lopes. Find out more information, along with podcast feeder links, MP3 downloads, and more at bumbleking.com and kngi.org.
You all good?
Maybe. Are you?
I'm fine. I'm fine.
Did you fall asleep, or were you just distracted and busy?
No, I was on time. I was here at 6.
What? You were like 2 minutes late, sir.
I don't know what clock you're going off of in your strange, arid Badlands, but I was here at 6.
Uh-huh. Likely story.
Likely because it's true.
Oh, yeah, you're probably right. Hold on, when did I message you? 3:57. Okay, that's when I first messaged you. What about on Discord? A minute later. Okay. 2 minutes later. Oh well.